There's something extraordinary about the idea that a small change can create an enormous transformation. Not because the habit itself is big, but because of what it awakens inside a person. Sometimes the smallest shift in routine, the tiniest commitment made quietly in the morning, or the slightest adjustment in attitude can redirect the entire course of someone's life. And I've learned that life rarely changes in one grand moment. Life changes gradually, silently, almost invisibly, then suddenly all at once. And that all at once moment usually comes from a small habit someone decided to practice when nobody was watching, when nobody was applauding, and when nobody even knew they were trying. When we think of changing our lives, most people imagine something huge: moving to a new country, getting a better job, starting a business, transforming their health in one dramatic leap. But the truth is far more comforting and far more challenging at the same time. The truth is that your success, your lifestyle, your peace of mind, your energy, your future, all of it is built on the little choices you repeat every day. Choices so small they feel almost insignificant, but repeated long enough, they become forces powerful enough to shift the trajectory of your entire life. Let me share something sincere with you. People don't rise to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their habits. You can dream as high as you like, and you should. But if your habits don't support the dream, then the dream eventually collapses under the weight of its own expectations. That's why today I want to talk to you about 10 small habits. Not massive, not overwhelming, not complicated. Simple, achievable, human, but powerful enough to change your life forever if you practice them consistently. The first habit is waking up with intention. Notice I didn't say waking up early, or waking up before sunrise, or waking up at a dramatic hour that looks impressive on a motivational poster. I said waking up with intention. You see, there are two kinds of mornings. Mornings where you wake up because the world is calling you, and mornings where you wake up because your purpose is calling you. If the first thing you do every morning is grab your phone, scroll through problems that aren't yours, read messages that drain you, or immediately step into the noise of the world, then you are starting your life in a state of reaction. But if you take even 2 minutes, just 2 quiet, conscious minutes, to tell yourself what kind of day you want to live, everything changes. Those 2 minutes become the steering wheel of your whole day, and a great life is nothing more than hundreds of great days stacked together. Start your day with intention, and you've already won half the battle. The second small habit is learning something every day. Not a textbook, not a curriculum, just learning. A curious mind never grows old. A growing mind never stays stuck. And a learning mind never becomes bitter. Read 1 page. Listen to 5 minutes of an audiobook. Observe someone wiser than you. Ask a better question. Reflect on a mistake. It doesn't matter how small the lesson is. What matters is that every single day, your mind becomes a little sharper, a little wiser, a little more capable. One day, people will wonder how you suddenly know so much, how you suddenly make such good decisions, how you suddenly see opportunities they missed. But the truth is, nothing will be sudden. You will have earned that clarity in tiny daily doses long before anyone notices. Knowledge compounds silently and reveals itself loudly. The third habit is writing something down. A thought, a goal, a worry, an idea, an observation, anything. Writing is the habit of making the invisible visible. When you write, the mind becomes clearer, the emotions become lighter, and your direction becomes sharper. People often feel overwhelmed not because their life is too heavy, but because their mind is too crowded. A crowded mind can't think clearly, but a written mind becomes focused. Even if you write just 1 sentence a day, you'll begin to realize how much power your thoughts have when you take them out of your head and put them onto paper. Your goals will become clearer, your fears will become smaller, and your decisions will become easier. A person who thinks only in their head is a prisoner of their thoughts. A person who writes becomes the creator of their thoughts. The fourth habit is practicing discipline in one small area. Not everything, not your entire life at once. One area. One commitment, one standard. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's keeping your desk clean. Maybe it's drinking enough water. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's sticking to one promise you made to yourself. Discipline is the muscle that strengthens every other muscle in your life. If you try to change everything at once, you'll change nothing. But if you practice discipline in one small area consistently, that discipline will begin to spread. It will influence how you speak to people, how you manage your time, how you pursue your goals, how you handle stress, and how you show up for yourself. You don't build confidence by achieving everything at once. You build confidence by doing one small thing repeatedly until you prove to yourself that you can trust your own word. The fifth habit is surrounding yourself with better conversations. Not better people, better conversations. A single conversation can raise your standards, shift your beliefs, or remind you of your potential. And the quality of your conversations often determines the quality of your decisions. If you regularly talk to people who complain, doubt, gossip, or fear the future, don't be surprised when your mind begins to absorb their emotional climate. But if you seek conversations with people who think deeply, dream boldly, and speak positively, then your mind becomes a garden instead of a battlefield. And here's the beautiful part. Better conversations don't have to come from other people. You can have a better conversation with yourself. The words you whisper to yourself in difficult moments, the tone you use when you talk to yourself about mistakes, the encouragement you give yourself when nobody else sees your effort, all of this matters. You become the person you talk to the most. The sixth habit is choosing progress over perfection. Perfection is the silent dream killer. It convinces you that if something isn't done perfectly, it shouldn't be done at all. And that mindset poisons potential. But progress is liberating. Progress says, do it badly, but do it. Start before you're ready. Begin while you're unsure. Move even if you're afraid. Because perfection is the myth that keeps people from ever trying, but progress is the truth that sets people free. A flawed beginning is worth infinitely more than a perfect intention. And once you start, you'll discover that momentum is the real magic. A small step becomes a bigger step. A simple attempt becomes a habit. And the moment you learn to celebrate progress instead of demanding perfection, you unlock a version of yourself that is unstoppable. The seventh habit is practicing gratitude in the smallest moments. Not dramatic gratitude, not social media gratitude, quiet gratitude. Gratitude for the breath you're taking, the water you're drinking, the roof over your head, the heartbeat keeping you alive, the people who care for you, the lessons that shaped you. Gratitude doesn't ignore problems. It gives you the strength to face them without losing your joy. When you train yourself to notice small blessings, your mind learns to find hope in difficult situations, beauty in ordinary days, and possibilities in uncertain times. Gratitude is a lens, and when you change the lens, the whole world looks different. It becomes brighter, softer, more meaningful. You start seeing what's going right instead of only what's going wrong. And that shift alone can change your entire emotional world. The eighth habit is controlling the inputs that enter your mind. Your mind is a garden, and every piece of information is a seed. What you watch, what you listen to, what you read, and what you repeatedly expose yourself to slowly shapes your beliefs and behaviors. Some people fill their mind with negativity, chaos, arguments, drama, and then wonder why they feel anxious, discouraged, or unmotivated. But if you intentionally choose inputs that inspire you, educate you, uplift you, or challenge you to grow, your mind becomes fertile ground for transformation. Guard your mental diet the same way you guard your physical diet. What you consume determines how you feel, how you think, and how you live. Feed your mind wisely and your life will reflect it. The ninth habit is acting even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is wonderful when it's present, but discipline is powerful when motivation disappears. Some of the greatest achievements in life were born on days when someone didn't feel like doing anything but showed up anyway. There will be mornings where your energy is low, evenings where your mind is tired, and seasons where your passion fades. But if you can take one small action, even in those moments, you begin to rewrite your identity. You stop being the kind of person who waits for the perfect mood and become the kind of person who creates results regardless of the mood. And that transformation, moving from emotional decisions to intentional actions, is one of the most life-changing habits you can ever develop. The 10th habit is giving more than you take. Not financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. A simple compliment, a moment of kindness, a gentle word, a sincere encouragement, a bit of wisdom, a small gesture. You have no idea how far these things travel. Some of the people you meet are fighting silent battles they never talk about. And your kindness might be the only moment of hope they experience that day. Giving doesn't just help others, it elevates you. It strengthens your spirit, expands your heart, and deepens your meaning. Life has a beautiful way of returning whatever you give. Sometimes not immediately, sometimes not directly, but always in a way that shapes your destiny. And if you look closely, you'll notice something powerful. None of these habits require money, talent, luck, or perfect circumstances. They require intention, commitment, a willingness to start small, a desire to become a little better each day. Anyone can practice them. Anyone can grow from them. Anyone can transform through them. The gap between the life you have and the life you want is often as small as the habits you repeat daily. If you begin adopting these habits, even at the smallest level, 2 minutes, 1 step, 1 sentence, 1 act, you will start to feel something shift inside you. You will feel more clear, more capable, more resilient, more hopeful. And one day, not too far from now, you'll look back and realize that your entire life changed because of tiny decisions you made consistently when nobody else believed in you, when nobody encouraged you, when nobody even knew you were trying. Little habits, big life. That's how transformation happens. And when those habits begin to take root, something incredible happens inside you. You start to notice that life feels lighter, not because the world changed, but because you changed. You begin walking differently, thinking differently, responding differently. Situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Challenges that once intimidated you now feel like opportunities. Even the setbacks that used to drain your energy start teaching you lessons instead of stealing your peace. You begin to realize that the real transformation never happens in public. It happens in private. In those quiet moments when you're choosing discipline over comfort, when you're choosing growth over excuses, when you're choosing purpose over distraction. Nobody claps for you in those moments. Nobody celebrates you. Nobody sees the effort. But those are the moments that shape you into a person capable of extraordinary things. Small habits teach you something profound. That you don't have to change your entire life in one dramatic move. You only have to change the next hour, the next decision, the next thought. And suddenly life becomes less overwhelming because you realize you're not climbing a mountain, you're taking one step, and then one more, and then one more. And before you know it, you're standing somewhere you once thought was impossible. But here's something important. These habits won't work if you treat them like temporary fixes. They work when you commit to them, even on the days that feel slow, boring, or unexciting. Consistency transforms habits into identity. And once something becomes part of your identity, you no longer have to push yourself to do it. You begin to naturally live in alignment with it. That's the beauty of small disciplines. They don't just change your schedule, they change who you believe you are, because deep down, every person on this earth is capable of far more than they think. But most people never unlock that potential because they're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling. They tell themselves, one day I'll start, or when my situation improves, or when I feel ready. But the truth is, life responds to action, not to intention. And when you start taking small steps, life starts opening small doors. And those small doors lead to bigger paths. And those paths lead to opportunities you never imagined. Every great transformation in history began with a small habit. A writer who decided to write 1 page a day, an athlete who decided to run for 10 minutes, an entrepreneur who decided to learn for 15 minutes every evening, a leader who decided to wake up with purpose instead of pressure. Their greatness wasn't born in a single moment. It was built in quiet, consistent, ordinary choices that eventually became extraordinary results. And as these habits grow within you, something else begins to change: your confidence. Not the loud confidence that needs attention, but the quiet confidence that grows from keeping promises to yourself. When you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and you actually do it, even in small ways, your inner strength grows. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to respect yourself. And self-respect is one of the most powerful forces in the world, because once you trust your own word, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for others to believe in you because you believe in yourself. You stop depending on approval because your confidence comes from within. You stop being limited by fear because your habits have made you stronger than your doubts. And that kind of inner strength cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. It must be built slowly, patiently, intentionally, through daily habits that might seem small to the world but feel deeply meaningful to you. And something else happens. As you grow, the people around you start to change too, not because you're changing them, but because your energy influences them. When you become disciplined, others become inspired. When you become grateful, others feel encouraged. When you speak with purpose, others feel empowered. You become a quiet reminder to those around you that change is possible. You become living proof that ordinary people can build extraordinary lives with small habits practiced consistently. You start attracting better conversations, healthier relationships, clearer opportunities, not because of luck, but because your habits elevated your mindset. You begin noticing patterns you previously ignored, gaining insights you once overlooked, and making decisions with clarity you didn't have before. And that clarity becomes one of your greatest advantages. It helps you avoid distractions, identify what truly matters, and move through life with intention instead of chaos. And as your clarity grows, your future begins to expand. The world starts to look different. Instead of seeing obstacles, you start seeing possibilities. Instead of seeing limitations, you start seeing potential. You start believing that you deserve more, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. You begin to understand that your life is not shaped by giant leaps, but by steady steps. And with every step, you come closer to the person you were always meant to become. And as these changes settle into your life, you begin to realize something profound. What you once called discipline now feels like peace. What you once considered effort now feels like alignment. What you once viewed as sacrifice now feels like strength. Because once small habits become part of your identity, they stop feeling like tasks and start feeling like truths. They become the natural rhythm of who you are becoming. You'll notice that the world around you responds differently too. Not because the world has changed, but because your perception has. The same problems that used to push you down now seem smaller, less threatening, more manageable. The same circumstances that once felt overwhelming now feel like challenges you're capable of handling. You start responding instead of reacting. You begin choosing instead of drifting. You act with clarity instead of confusion. That shift alone, moving from reaction to intention, can elevate your entire life to a new level of maturity and power. You start to appreciate the beauty of slow growth. You stop rushing the process. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You stop doubting yourself just because your progress isn't visible yet. Instead, you begin to trust the unseen work happening beneath the surface. You start valuing the roots, not just the fruits. Because you understand now that everything meaningful grows in stages. Seeds don't bloom the day they're planted. Muscles don't grow the day they're trained. Dreams don't become real the day they're imagined. Growth takes time, but time cannot defeat someone who shows up every single day with intention. And every day, these habits carve a new path in your mind. They create patterns of strength instead of patterns of fear, patterns of action instead of patterns of hesitation, patterns of consistency instead of patterns of excuses. And the moment your patterns change, your life changes. Because you're no longer driven by old programming. You're designing your life consciously, moment by moment, choice by choice. People might ask you, how did you change so much? And you'll smile because you'll know they don't see the mornings when you pushed yourself, the evenings when you reflected, the days when you acted without motivation, the moments when you chose growth over comfort. They see the results, not the rituals. They see the transformation, not the habits. They see the person you've become, not the small steps that built you. And you'll notice something beautiful. The more disciplined you become, the more freedom you feel. Freedom from stress. Freedom from confusion, freedom from regret, freedom from the weight of unfinished goals, freedom from the nagging voice that used to tell you, maybe tomorrow. Discipline doesn't restrict your life, it releases it. It removes the chaos that drains your energy and replaces it with clarity that strengthens your spirit. Bit by bit, your emotional world begins to shift too. You begin to feel more calm, more centered, more grounded. You're not thrown off so easily by negativity because your habits have built an inner stability that's harder to shake. You start choosing your battles wisely. You start investing your time more intentionally. You start protecting your energy more carefully. You stop letting small problems steal large amounts of your peace. And that peace becomes your power. And as peace grows, so does confidence. Not the kind that needs to be loud or visible, but the kind that's deeply rooted. The kind that comes from knowing you're moving in the right direction. The kind that comes from keeping promises to yourself. The kind that whispers, I am capable, even on difficult days. Confidence built on daily habits lasts far longer than confidence built on temporary achievements. Then, Almost unexpectedly, you start aiming higher. You raise your standards. You expect more from yourself and from your life. You stop settling for good enough and start pursuing better. Not because you're dissatisfied, but because growth becomes your natural state. You realize that when you improve yourself a little each day, your goals evolve with you. What once seemed out of reach now feels like the next logical step. And you develop a new kind of patience, an empowered patience. The kind that says, I don't need results instantly because I'm building something permanent. You stop chasing shortcuts and start embracing consistency. You stop demanding immediate change and start appreciating steady progress. You understand now that life is not a race to be won, but a journey to be shaped. And so, as you walk away from this moment, remember this truth. Your life will never be defined by what you dream about. It will be defined by what you practice daily. The small habits you commit to today will echo into every tomorrow of your life. They will build your character, shape your mindset, direct your destiny, and quietly transform you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. You don't need permission to change. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough. You need small steps, repeated with purpose, repeated with heart, repeated with belief. The life you want will not arrive in a single moment. It will arrive through consistent moments, through those quiet choices you make when no one is watching. So start now, start small, start with one habit, one step, one decision that says, my future matters, my growth matters, my life matters, and keep showing up. Because if you stay committed to the small things, life will reward you with big things. If you honor the daily disciplines, life will honor your efforts. And if you build the habits that shape a better you, you'll live a life you're proud to call your own. Let today be the day you draw a line between who you were and who you're becoming. Let it be the day you choose intention over excuses, discipline over comfort, progress over perfection, because your life can change forever. Not through force, not through luck, but through the quiet power of small habits practiced consistently. Your transformation starts now. Your future begins with this moment, and the person you're capable of becoming is waiting on the other side of one simple choice. Start with the small habits that will change your life forever.